Pressure from Democrats to suspend re-election bid. Biden vows to stay in race, says will defeat Trump.
I am running and we're going to win. I'm not going to change that.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will launch, dedicate to the nation and lay the foundation stone of various infrastructure projects in Mumbai. In Nepal, KP Sharma stakes claim to form new government after Prachand loses confidence vote. And in sports, Novak Djokovic advances to the Wimbledon final, set up rematch against defending champion Carlos Alcaraz. US President Joe Biden has once again reiterated his commitment to the presidential race. Addressing supporters in Detroit, Biden declared that he is not leaving the race and warning Republican Donald Trump poses a serious threat. Earlier the same day, Biden made an unscheduled visit to a restaurant in a Detroit suburb where he told diners his intention to finish the job.
You probably noticed there's a lot of speculation lately. What's Joe Biden going to do? Is he going to stay in the race? Is he going to drop out? Here's my answer. I am running and we're going to win. I'm not going to change that. I'm the nominee of the Democratic Party, the only Democrat or Republican who has beaten Donald Trump ever. And I'm going to beat him again. I know him. Donald Trump is a loser.
More U.S. Democratic lawmakers have told President Biden that it's time to step aside as calls grow for him to suspend his re-election bid. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries met Biden at the White House late on Thursday to convey the concerns of the House Democrats, while influential mega donors are reportedly holding back $90 million of fundraising until the president drops out. Nick Harper gets us more from Washington.
Well, with a dogged determination, Joe Biden has made it clear that he is remaining in the race. He hit the campaign trail on Friday, heading to the swing state of Michigan before campaign stops in Texas and Nevada in the early and middle part of next week. As he puts it, he's trying to allay fears to show people that he's up to the job, so has set himself a rigorous campaign schedule over the next few days. But we learnt on Friday of a late-night meeting on Thursday after that press conference between the president and the House Minority Leader, Democrat Hakeem Jeffries. We're told Jeffries expressed concerns from Democrats on Capitol Hill and talked about a possible path forward. We're also told that Jeffries did not offer the president his endorsement. Well, throughout Friday, we've seen more defections from House Democrats who have put their hand up to say they can no longer support the president. And we also learnt that mega donors are putting their money on hold. $90 million worth of pledges for the president have been frozen by those mega donors. They say they will not unfreeze the money for the Democratic campaign until Joe Biden steps aside. But some key allies of the president have given interviews in which they've shown their full support for him, including California Governor Gavin Newsom, who in many respects has been considered as someone who could potentially replace Biden at the top of the ticket. But he said he's not entertaining any ideas of forcing the president aside. He said he was all in with Biden. And then there's the key South Carolina congressman, Jim Clyburn, who said he was fully behind Biden's re-election plan, although he did admit that he would support Vice President Kamala Harris if there was a change at the top of the ticket. It is potentially going to be a difficult weekend ahead for President Biden, with more Democrats possibly coming forward telling him it's time to step aside. Nick Harper in Washington, reporting for DD India.
The United States on Friday announced new sanctions on a company allegedly involved in chemical weapon research in Iran. The sanctions target key Iranian entities and individuals involved in the research, development, production and procurement of chemical weapons-related material and technology. The designated entities include research institutes, chemical companies and procurement networks that have been instrumental in advancing Iran's chemical weapons program. This sanctions the action following the United States' repeated call for Iran to remedy its non-compliance with the Chemical Weapons Convention. Highlighting Iran's friendship with Russia and China, the President-elect Masoud Pezeshkian said that the U.S. should realize that Iran will not respond to pressure. He said that China and Russia have consistently stood by us during challenging times, and we value this friendship. He also reiterated that Iran does not seek nuclear weapons, adding that Tehran would expand ties with neighbors and engage with Europe. Pezeshkian has pledged to promote a pragmatic foreign policy, ease tensions over now installed relations and negotiations with major powers to revive a 2015 nuclear pact and improve prospects for social liberalization and political pluralism in his election campaign. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said that he believed an agreement between the European Union and China on tariffs for Chinese electric vehicles was possible on Friday. His comments came after Germany was set to abstain to vote by EU member states on imposing provisional tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles.
Im Übrigen ist es so, dass wir
The situation is such that we believe the goal of the European Union will be achieved to come to an agreement with China regarding the issue of electric mobility. Those are globally competitive vehicles which are at the top of the technology, which must fear no competition and therefore fear no competition. But we will always insist on conditions being fair on all sides, and that's what's being discussed right now between the European Union and China.
der Europäischen Union und China.
North Korea has denounced the declaration at the recent NATO summit. North Korea bristled on Saturday at NATO summit declaration that condemned its weapons export to Russia, casting it as an illegal document and warning of strong strategic counteraction. NATO leaders released the declaration in which they strongly condemned North's arms exports to Russia and voiced great concerns over the two countries' deepening partnership. At least 22 students were killed and more than 130 have been injured after a school building collapsed in Nigeria's Central Plateau state on Friday. The two-storied building collapsed during school hours. All trapped under the debris have been rescued and are being treated for injuries in various hospitals. The cause of the collapse is not known, but residents said it came after 3 days of heavy rains in Plateau. There have been several major building collapses in Nigeria in recent years, with observers blaming a mix of bad workmanship, poor quality materials and corruption. In 2021, at least 45 people were killed when a high-rise building under construction collapsed in a wealthy Lagos neighborhood. Three people were killed and several others were seriously injured after scaffolding collapsed outside a 19-storied building in a suburb of the Swiss city of Lausanne on Friday. The authorities said more than 180 emergency workers, including dozens of firemen, were working to secure the site against further falls. The police said around a dozen people were directly impacted by the accident, including 3 construction workers who were killed in the accident. It added that the cause of the accident is unclear and the public prosecutor's office has opened an investigation. Newly appointed British Prime Minister Keir Starmer and English actor Idris Elba joined King Charles for a discussion on youth opportunities on Friday. They were joined by a group of young people to discuss the challenges youngsters face and ways to address youth violence in the UK. British Prime Minister Starmer said that we need to listen to young people as we don't know the ground reality. The event was organised by the King's Trust in London. Elba said his charity, the Elba Hope Foundation, focuses on community empowerment, education and sustainable development. Kenya's police chief Yaphet Koome resigned on Friday following intense criticism of officers' conduct during anti-government protests last month, in which at least 39 people were killed. President William Ruto's office announced Coome's resignation the day after he fired nearly his entire cabinet, bowing to the demands of the protesters. Coome's deputy, Dollars Kanya, has been made acting police chief. The demonstrations against proposed tax increases began peacefully but turned violent. Police fired tear gas, water cannons and live ammunition, and some protesters stormed into the parliament. Warships assemble at a military port in Zhanjiang city of China for China-Russia naval exercise Joint Sea 2024 on Friday. The Chinese side had a warm welcome ceremony for the naval Russian fleet. The exercise aims to demonstrate the resolve and capabilities of the militaries in jointly addressing maritime security threats and preserving global and regional peace and stability. The two sides will conduct joint drills at sea, including surveillance and early warning, sea strike, air defense and anti-missile exercises. They will also hold professional seminars, visit each other's ships and engage in cultural exchange activities. Indian Air Force contingent has reached Australia for participating in exercise Pitch Black 24. Now, the exercise is scheduled to be conducted from 12th of July to 2nd of August. It is a biennial multinational exercise hosted by the Royal Australian Air Force. The exercise involves participation of 140 aircraft from various air forces, including Su-30 MKI, C-17, C-130 and IL-78 aircraft from the Indian Air Force. Lithuanian President Gitanas Nausėda was sworn in for his second five-year term. The ceremony commenced with a ceremonial event at the Lithuanian Parliament where Gitanas took the presidential oath with his hand on the constitution. The new president pledged to increase Lithuania's defense budget to 4% of GDP and to boost funding of air defense for the Baltic Sea coast and border fortifications. You're watching DD India News Hour. We're heading for a short break. But after the break, SpaceX witnesses a debacle as Falcon 9 rocket engine suffers a rare malfunction in space. EU charges Elon Musk's X with breaching its online content law. Company could face fine up to 6% of global turnover. Shooting case against actor Alec Baldwin dismissed over withheld evidence.
What is happening to the link between the diaspora and Mother India, how they see India's rise, and what is the role of the diaspora in propelling India's rise?
See, being here firsthand, all the infrastructural changes, the talks about transformation, I feel very proud.
As a member of the diaspora, we think that India is a country that is rich in culture and at the same time its economic advancements and technology.
To bring this knowledge to the people there and to stimulate people on building relationships with each other and with India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Let's get you more international updates. We'll get you updates from the Himalayan nation Nepal now. Former Nepal Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has staked claim to lead the new government after incumbent Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachand lost the trust vote. Prime Minister Prachand submitted his resignation to President Ramchandra Paudel on Friday evening. Dahal was compelled to either step down or demonstrate his majority in parliament after his biggest ally, the Liberal Communist Unified Marxist-Leninist Party, headed by Oli, withdrew their support. Oli, who has served as Prime Minister twice before, reached an agreement with the Nepali Congress at the end of June securing enough seats for a majority. The agreement, inked on July 2nd at midnight, also envisages Nepali Congress chief Sher Bahadur Deoba succeeding Oli after about 22 months for the latter half of the current tenure of parliament. UML is the largest party in Nepal's parliament and Nepali Congress is the second largest. Russian attacks killed at least 6 people and injured 13 in Ukraine's eastern frontline Donetsk region on Friday. A Russian missile landed near an administrative building and a bus stop in northwest of the Russian-held city of Donetsk. The attack badly damaged buildings, facades and a bus with shattered windows. There was also a burnt car that appeared to have been thrown to the site by a blast. India abstained in the UN General Assembly on a resolution that demanded that Russia immediately cease its aggression against Ukraine and urgently withdraw its military from Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. The UNGA, consisting of 193 members, adopted the resolution with 99 votes in favor, 9 against and 60 abstentions. Cuba, North Korea, Russia and Syria voted against the resolution introduced by Ukraine. The draft resolution also demanded that Russia urgently withdraw its military and other unauthorized personnel from the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant and immediately return the plant to the full control of the sovereign and competent authorities of Ukraine to ensure its safety and security. The European Union charged Elon Musk's social media platform X with breaching its online content law. The European Commission, in a finding on Friday, identified 3 grievances over X's content practices. Now, according to the Commission's preliminary findings, the decision and functioning of X's blue checkmark feature is an illegal verification tool, as anyone can pay to obtain it and gain verified status, which it said can deceive users. The Commission said X had also failed to comply with the DSA requirement to provide searchable and reliable information about advertisements in a library for easy access. X was also charged with blocking researchers from accessing its public data. The company, which will have several months to respond to the charges, could face fine of as much as 6% of its global turnover if found guilty of breaching the DSA. All right, let's get to the latest in actor Alec Baldwin's shooting case. A judge in New Mexico dismissed the case against Baldwin on Friday after finding that the state had withheld evidence that could have shed light on how live rounds got onto a film set where the cinematographer was fatally shot. It was a stunning end to the trial of Baldwin, who was rehearsing with a gun on the film set of Rust in 2021 when it fired a live round, killing Helena Hutchins, the movie's cinematographer. Baldwin had been told the gun was cold, meaning it had no live ammunition. A court in Ecuador handed down prison sentence of 12 years and 34 years for 5 people found guilty of murdering presidential candidate Fernando Villavicencio on Friday. Journalist and former legislator Villavicencio was shot while leaving a rally in August 2023, becoming the most prominent victim of Ecuador's spiraling violence. The ruling, read out by Milton Maroto, can be appealed by both the prosecution and the defense. The trial started at the end of June. The Attorney General's office said Carlos Edwin Angulo Lara gave the order to murder Villavicencio from prison. Honduras continues to report a surge in cases of dengue fever after declaring a health emergency in early June. On July 4th, the Central American country reported nearly 51,000 confirmed dengue cases and 29 confirmed deaths. Moreover, 33 deaths under suspicion were also logged. The health authorities are currently carrying out fumigation efforts in the country's metropolitan areas to prevent mosquitoes, spraying insecticides from house to house to control mosquito population. There were also other options and precautions that were taken. Colorado reports 3 presumptive human bird flu cases. Now, these cases mark a significant development as they highlight the potential for avian influenza to cross species barriers and infect humans, raising public health concerns. The individuals affected are believed to have contracted the virus through direct contact with infected poultry, a common transmission route for avian influenza. Symptoms of avian influenza in humans can range from mild respiratory issues to severe illness. The specific strain of avian influenza involved in these cases is yet to be confirmed. A second-stage engine on SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket suffered a rare malfunction in space during a routine Starlink mission, imperiling the satellites in the company's first rocket failure in more than 7 years. Roughly an hour after Falcon 9 lifted off from Vandenberg Space Force Base, the rocket's second stage in space failed to reignite and deployed its 20 Starlink satellites into a much lower orbit than planned, where they risk burning up in Earth's atmosphere. All right, let's get to weather update from across the globe now. Nearly 1 million homes and businesses in Texas remained without power on Friday, 5 days after Hurricane Beryl made a landfall in the U.S. state. Centerpoint Energy, the largest power provider in Texas, said about 870,000 of its customers remained affected. However, power supply was restored for about 1.4 million customers. Hurricane Beryl slammed into Texas early on Monday, knocking out power to nearly 3 million homes and businesses. Local officials warned it could take several days to restore power as the hurricane toppled 10 transmission lines and knocked down trees that took down the power lines. Widespread flooding has covered parts of Vermont. The flooding was reportedly caused by the remnants of what was Hurricane Beryl last week. Authorities have issued flood warnings across parts of northern New York, Vermont and New Hampshire. Authorities have also issued flood warnings across the impacted areas, urging residents to remain vigilant and avoid travel unless absolutely necessary. A large tree narrowly missed crushing a moving car in Cape Town as severe rains battered South Africa's coastal city. Heavy rain and strong gusts persist in Cape Town and surrounding areas throughout the past week. Close to 33,000 dwellings in both informal settlements and suburbs have been affected. Western Cape government has warned the Breed River was flowing at more than 1,000 cubic meters a second and was in danger of breaching its banks. More rain is expected. Sudan's warring parties started UN-led indirect talks on Thursday in Geneva, aiming at brokering possible ceasefire, protecting civilians and facilitating humanitarian support. At the invitation of UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres' personal envoy, Ramtane Lamamra, delegations from both the warring parties, the Sudanese Armed Forces, that is SAF, and the Paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, that is RSF, had talks under proximity format in Geneva. The two sides separately met with Lamamra on Thursday and Friday, and they will not have direct talks with each other. General Commander of SAF, Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, on Thursday said that the army would not have talks with the RSF unless they withdraw from all cities they have occupied, while the RSF on Friday said in a statement that they welcome the UN broker talks and look forward to constructive achievements and effective mechanisms for ceasefire and civilian protection. Along with the talks in Geneva, clashes continued in the country. The SAF and the RSF on Friday fired shells at each other in several areas of North Khartoum. The SAF advanced towards Khartoum oil refinery occupied by the RSF and had several skirmishes. The armed conflict in the country broke out between the SAF and the RSF in the capital city of Khartoum on April 15, 2023, subsequently engulfing other regions of the country and continues till this day. Let's take a look at other stories making it to the headlines from across the world. A music festival in Slovakia turned tragic when a severe storm caused a tent to collapse, resulting in injuries to several attendees. The incident occurred as high winds and heavy rain swept through the festival ground, catching many festival goers off guard. The festival, which attracted a large number of music fans, was in full swing when the storm hit. The sudden and intense weather caused chaos as people scrambled for shelter. In Bolivia, numerous organizations have taken to the streets in support of President Luis Arce and the nation's democratic processes following concerns about potential threats to their government. This mobilization comes after the political turmoil and coup that occurred in 2019, which led to the ousting of former President Evo Morales. The demonstrators emphasized the importance of upholding democratic principles and expressed their backing for President RC's administration. At least 65 pilot whales have died after being stranded on an island off the north coast of Scotland. In one of the largest mass strandings in Britain in recent times, experts predict the mishap is cause of environment. Almost a year ago, a similar event involving pilot whales occurred on Lewis, another Scottish island located to the west of the mainland, when at least 55 whales died or were euthanized. Eminem has announced the release of his 12th studio album titled The Death of Slim Shady. Now, this album is a conceptual work that delves deep into the artist's iconic alter ego. Eminem has been a prominent figure in his music for decades now. The project promises to explore the evolution and eventual demise of his controversial and provocative persona.
What's my name? What's my name? Sometimes I wonder what the old me say.
A recent survey done by a US think tank, Pew Center, says that 77% of Indians are satisfied with the democratic system in the country. India stands second in the satisfaction rate index among 31 countries. Take a look at this report.
India is world's largest democratic country. It's a sovereign, socialist, secular democratic republic with a parliamentary form of government, which is federal in structure with unitary features. Indians are really happy with the system. 77% Indians say that they are satisfied with the democratic system in the country. And this is as per a survey conducted by an American think tank, Pew Research Center. This research was conducted in 31 powerful countries of the world to find out how many people there are satisfied with democracy and how many people are not. India has the highest satisfaction rate among major economies. India is at the second place in Asia along with the world. If we talk about Asia, Singapore is a country where most people are satisfied with democracy. 80% people have expressed satisfaction with the democracy there. In Asia, the condition of Sri Lanka, South Korea and Japan is the worst. 58% people of Sri Lanka are dissatisfied with the democracy there. 63% of the population of South Korea and 67% of the population of Japan are unhappy with democracy. Countries like America, Britain, Canada, France, Germany and Australia, more than half the population are not happy with the democracy there. Only 31% of American citizens are satisfied with democracy and 68% are dissatisfied. In France, only 35% of the citizens are satisfied with country's democracy. In the UK, the satisfaction rate is 39%, Canada 52% and Germany has 55%. Indian democracy is healthy in the 21st century. Indian citizens have declared that they prefer democracy. Unlike in many other democracies, electoral turnout in India is higher among the poor than the rich, higher among the less educated than graduates, and higher in the villages than in the cities. The success of democracy in India has dismissed the pessimistic auguries. Bureau Report, DD India.
Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell and Consul General of India in Seattle, Prakash Gupta, jointly inaugurated the first India Visa Application Center in the cities of Seattle and Bellevue on Friday. Consul General Prakash Gupta emphasized that the opening of these new centers reflect Indian government's commitment to deepen its relations with the Pacific Northwest states. He also added any feedback and suggestions on further improvement will be welcomed. Both the Seattle and Bellevue IVAC centers will be managed by VFS Global. Mayor Harrell expressed his admiration for the Indian community, praising their role and contribution in enriching the bond of friendship between India and the US. You're watching DD India News. We're heading for a short break, but stay with us for a quick weather roundup as IMD predicts increased rainfall activity in North and Northeast India. Over 750 students from more than 45 educational institutions vie for honours as the coveted Robocon 2024 kick-starts from today. In a special report, we tell you how skateboarding is thriving in the national capital. Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. A quick relook at the top stories once again. US President Joe Biden faces more pressure from Democrats to suspend re-election bid. Biden vows to stay in race, says will defeat Trump. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will dedicate to the nation and lay the foundation stone of multi-infrastructure projects in Mumbai. In Nepal, KP Sharma stakes claim to form the new government after Prachand loses confidence vote. And in sports, Novak Djokovic advances to the Wimbledon final, sets up a rematch against defending champion Carlos Alcaraz. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to visit western state of Mumbai on Saturday to inaugurate infrastructure projects worth over 29,000 crore rupees, including the new platforms at Lokmanya Tilak Terminus and Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminus Station, and crucial road, railway and port sector ventures. Prime Minister will also lay the foundation stone for the Thane-Borivali Tunnel project worth 16,600 crore rupees. During his visit, Prime Minister will also inaugurate several key infrastructure projects. All right, Sharma Mishra, DD India's correspondent, joins us from Mumbai. Sharma, good morning. We've just given a broad outline of Prime Minister's programs and inaugurations that will happen in Mumbai today. You spell out more details. How far will it be a boost to infrastructure and how far will it make lives easier for Mumbaikars?
Or if anybody has travelled to Mumbai, they will know how easy it has become to travel from one point to the other. For example, from Worli to the South Mumbai. And this is all because of the infrastructural developments that has taken place in the last recent years. This is now an added, we could say a chapter to this book where Prime Minister Narendra Modi would be coming here in Mumbai and he'll be laying foundation stone of various important projects. And one of these important projects is the Thane-Borivali Tunnel Link Road, which would be an underpass. It will be a tunnel road which would be going under the Sanjay Gandhi National Park, and it will save. It will be the distance would be of 11 kilometers, and it will save 12 kilometers in distance and 1 hour in duration. So you can understand how much fuel, how much time, how much cost the entire infrastructure when it's ready will save. Apart from that, we are also getting to know that the Goregaon link road would also be, the foundation stone of that would also be laid down, the GMLR, and this will also cut down travel time by a lot of kilometers and by a lot of minutes. This will be a 6.5 kilometer long way, and a foundation stone would be laid of that as well. Apart from that, Prime Minister would be also dedicating the platforms which is ready at 10 and 11 platform at Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminus and also at Lokmanya Tilak Terminus. Now we can understand once these the platforms that he is going to be dedicating, this is an elongated platform which were already there, and now a larger, more number of trains, more number of coach trains can park there, and more number of passengers can board on these trains. So time would be saved over here as well. Apart from that, we'll be also launching the Chief Minister Yuva Prashikshan Kendra, which would be like an internship program, and it will give an hands-on experience to the youth of the state. And since we understand that the unemployment opportunity, the unemployment issue rather has been raised a lot of times by the opposition. So this will cater to this particular issue where the youth of the state, they can come and have a hands-on experience. And once you have this certificate that you have completed your internship from this particular scheme, there'll be a lot of institutions, organizations that would be hiring you. All these would be done at NESCO, which is in Goregaon, and this will be around 5:30. Once this is done, he will be complex area where he'll be inaugurating the new tower of the Indian Newspaper Society. So this the new tower of the Indian Newspaper Society will cater to the growing needs of the newspaper societies. So overall, a lot of aspect has been touched by Prime Minister in this visit.
All right, Sharma, we leave it here. We'll come back to you again during the day, but thanks as of now for joining in with those details. India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval spoke to his US counterpart Jake Sullivan on Friday. Both the leaders discussed a wide range of issues of bilateral, regional and international concern and forthcoming high-level engagements under the Quad framework to be held in July 2024 and later in the year. The NSAs agreed to work closely on further advancing India-US relations, which are built on shared values and common strategic and security interests. They reiterated the need to work collectively to address global challenges to peace and security and further expand the comprehensive global strategic partnership. IIT Delhi will host the 2024 edition of DD Robocon at New Delhi's Tyagaraja Stadium in association with Prasar Bharati on July 13th and 14th. Over 750 students from more than 45 colleges, institutions and universities in the country are participating in the event. During the competition, robots will face off each other to execute complex tasks within precise windows of time. The winning team from DD Robocon will represent India at the International Asia Pacific Broadcasting Union Robocon 2024, which will take place in Vietnam. Now, this is a national level event happening for the last 23 years in the country. DD Robocon India 2024 promotes technical skill development, innovation and teamwork among engineering students, providing visibility and recognition in the field of robotics. All right, Deepika Mathew joins us from New Delhi. Deepika, you're in for an adventurous day ahead. Robocon 2024 kickstarts. Let us get more from you. How will the day pan out and what all do we expect to see?
Good morning, Preeti. Right now we are at Tyagaraja Stadium where DD Robocon is taking place. DD Robocon is organized by IIT Delhi in collaboration with Prasar Bharati. You can see behind me, I'll quickly request my camera person to pan the camera and show you the visuals because the league phase has started and there are the two teams which are playing right now. One is the red corner, one is the blue corner, and you can see that this round will now go on for another 3 minutes, and this is how the teams would be playing and displaying their skills. Now, interestingly, there is a very interesting point here that the robots are made by the students themselves, which clearly showcases that how the country is moving towards a techno-ready world. So you can see that the match has started and the theme of this particular league phase is Harvest Today, and the winners, the ultimate winners of this event will be moving forward to Vietnam, where the final will be taking place in August 2024. For now, this is the league phase which is taking place right now, and you can see the visuals behind me. This will go on for the entire day, and tomorrow the quarterfinal, semi-final and the finals will be played. The match has started and it remains to be seen that how the teams will be faring up. There are around 46 teams which are participating in this event. Around 150 and more students are participating along with coaches, support staff and the referees who've come here from the entire country to make this a grand success, Preeti.
All right, Deepika, thank you for joining in with those details. So that was about DD Robocon 2024. Let's turn focus to other updates. Counting of votes is underway for the 13 assembly seats in India's 7 states where by-elections were conducted on Wednesday. The elections were conducted across the states of West Bengal, Punjab, Bihar, Tamil Nadu, Madhya Pradesh, Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh. In Himachal Pradesh's Dehra constituency, Hoshiyar Singh of the Bharatiya Janata Party is currently leading with 4,942 votes. Meanwhile, Mohinder Bhagat of the Aam Aadmi Party is leading in Punjab's Jalandhar West with 3,971 votes. INC is leading with 3,000 votes from Himachal Pradesh Hamirpur seat. In Bihar's Rupoli constituency, Kaladhar Prasad Mandal of the Janata Dal United is leading with 6,588 votes. The Indian Meteorological Department has predicted increased rainfall activity in North and Northeast India. The weather body has further issued an orange alert for heavy rainfall on July 11th in Bihar and parts of Uttar Pradesh. As per the forecast, rainfall activity will remain active across various states until July 15th. Heavy rainfall activity is expected over Himalayan West Bengal, Sikkim, Bihar, Jharkhand and Odisha. Light rains are expected in Uttarakhand, Central India, Uttar Pradesh, Jammu Kashmir, Ladakh, Punjab, Haryana, Delhi and Rajasthan. The IMD has also issued an orange alert for Mumbai with heavy to very heavy rains in isolated areas. The residents must gear up for the next spell over the next few days as a yellow alert is in place until July 15th. The National Capital Region received early morning showers on Saturday with the prediction for more rain through the day. The heavy showers brought the temperature down, bringing much needed respite from heat. According to the Met Department, Delhi and Noida are likely to witness cloudy skies with thunderstorms today and on Sunday. The rain also caused waterlogging in several parts of Delhi, making it difficult for people to commute. Waterlogging further slowed traffic on the roads. DD India's Dibendu Mondal joins us for more from New Delhi. Dibendu, good morning. We told our viewers how the Delhiites woke up to respite from heat as they witnessed showers in different parts of the state. You're in different parts of the Union Territory. You're there. Let us know how is the day progressing now. And also, we have told our viewers about the IMD's prediction of rains today and tomorrow in the National Capital Region. You spell out more details.
Well, good morning, Preeti. That's right. Some parts of the national capital did get some early rainfall in the early hours of this morning. But currently, Preeti, I am at the heart of the national capital in central Delhi. But you see, it's very hot and humid out here. And the IMD, however, has predicted some light rainfall across different parts of the national capital region. That includes the satellite towns of Noida, Gurugram and Faridabad. But currently, Preeti, it seems that Delhi for the next couple of days, though getting respite from the heat wave, will continue to reel under the sultry, weather here in the national capital, given the fact that the humidity levels here has increased over the due to the rainfall activity and the monsoon activity here in this northern plains region of India. But going to different parts of the country, yes, first the IMD has issued widespread rainfall in the western coast of India, which includes the states of Maharashtra, Goa, parts of Gujarat, Kerala. But on the eastern coast, it is said that the IMD predicts over the next 2 days, there could be fairly widespread, rainfalls and scattered rainfalls. But in particularly speaking about the national capital region, there is no prediction of any heavy rainfall over the next couple of days, at least till the 15th. So Delhiites should be prepared for a sweltering weather with the humidity increasing, making the real feel of the temperature increasing by about 6 to 7 degrees. Currently, Preeti, as we speak, the temperature here in Delhi is about 32 degrees, but the feels like temperature is about 38 degrees. This is due to the increased humidity levels in the atmosphere. So, of course, there could be some scanty rainfalls here and there in the later part of the day. But there is no heavy rainfall that is predicted for Delhi, at least till the 15th of this month. Preeti.
All right, so Delhiites have to brave heat for another few days. Thank you so much, Dibendu, for joining in with those details. And the flood situation in North India's Assam has shown significant improvement as population affected comes down to 12.3 lakh. 7 people lost their lives on Friday, taking the death toll up to 91 this year. Brahmaputra River in some major areas and 3 other rivers, Budhidihing, Disang, Kushiara, are flowing above the danger mark. More than 39,000 inmates are taking shelter in 316 relief camps across the state. Over 3.8 lakh big animals and 2.25 lakh small animals were affected due to floods on Friday. 159 wild animals have died in Kaziranga National Park due to flooding. The Park Authority and the Forest Department have also managed to rescue 133 animals during flood time, and 111 animals were released after treatment. Indian Army's Chief Marshal V.R. Chaudhary attended the 25th anniversary of Kargil Vijay Diwas at the Sarsawa Air Force Station. Kargil Vijay Diwas highlights the victory of Indian Army force in the 1999 Kargil War to honor the bravery and sacrifices of the soldiers who fought in the conflict. Indian Army recalls the tribute of martyred heroes and celebrates the achievements of the Indian military during the conflict. A short break ahead on DD India News Hour, but after the break, Meta announces lifting of restrictions on former President Donald Trump's Facebook, Instagram accounts. Stay with us for all the hits and misses at Wimbledon as Jasmine Paolini and Barbora Krejcikova fight out to become the new women's champion. And we'll also show you how climbers race to scale man-made wall over River Thames in the London Festival.
What is happening to the link between the diaspora and Mother India, how they see India's rise, and what is the role of the diaspora in propelling India's rise?
See, being here firsthand, all the infrastructural changes, the talks about transformation, I feel very proud.
As a member of the diaspora, we think that India is a country that is rich in culture and at the same time its economic advancements and technology.
To bring this knowledge to the people there and to stimulate people on building relationships with each other and with India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Let's get to updates from the world of business now. Ahead of the upcoming US presidential elections 2024, Meta has announced that it would end restrictions on former President Donald Trump's Facebook and Instagram accounts. The tech company's decision came on Friday, in days immediately after the January 6, 2021 Capitol insurrection. Trump's accounts were suspended after the company determined that his posts had potentially fueled the violence that took place that day. The former president was also banned from social media platform Twitter, now called X. However, his account was restored in 2022. Amid wages battle, a union representing workers at South Korean technology giant Samsung Electronics' indefinite strike continues. Several hundred employees joined protests on Thursday and Friday in front of Samsung's high bandwidth memory site in Pyeongtaek after a union called a general strike this week. The strike is the largest labor action in the smartphone and chip-making giant's 55-year history. Let's turn focus to sports now. The ongoing Wimbledon 2024 on Friday saw Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic set up a repeat of their epic 2023 final following respective wins over Daniil Medvedev and Lorenzo Musetti in the semi-finals. Alcaraz finally found his A game to reach his second straight Wimbledon final as the champion overcame an erratic first set to beat Medvedev 6-7, 6-3, 6-4, 6-4. Also, 7 times champion Djokovic produced some of his best tennis to outclass Musetti 6-4, 7-6, 6-4 and reach a 10th Wimbledon final. In women action, a new women's champion will be crowned at Wimbledon on Saturday when surprise finalists Jasmine Paolini and Barbora Krejcikova face each other in an intriguing encounter. Paolini is vying to become Italy's first Wimbledon singles champion, while her opponent is hoping to continue the Czech Republic's proud record in the championships. Krejcikova had only won 3 matches in the 5 months before the tournament after struggling with illness and injury. The two 28-year-olds have taken advantage of an open women's draw and are now 1 match away from lifting the famous Venus Rosewater dish. The Olympic flame is set to arrive in Paris on Sunday as part of celebrations to mark France's National Day, that is the Bastille Day. There will be a military parade and flyover, and the torch relay will also hit the streets of the French capital. Thousands of police officers will be on duty in Paris to ensure security as the games approach. DD India correspondent Ross Cullen gets us more.
After travelling thousands of kilometres across France and also to France's overseas territories, the Olympic flame will make its grand entrance to Paris on Sunday. There will then be a 2-day torch relay with the flame visiting all corners of the French capital, and also a cauldron outside City Hall will be lit. The flame then departs Paris once more and then returns definitively to the French capital in time for the Olympic opening ceremony on Friday, the 26th of July, now under 2 weeks away. The French Interior Ministry, the police and the intelligence services have been working overtime to ensure the safety of spectators and also those taking part in the torch relay, and to make sure they disrupt and stop any possible threats. Ross Cullen in Paris reporting for DD India.
Indian Minister for Youth Affairs and Sports and Labour and Employment, Dr. Mansukh Mandavia, chaired a high-level meeting on Friday to review India's preparations for Paris 2024 Olympic Games. A total of 118 athletes across 16 sports will participate in the Paris Olympics. Out of the total 118 Paris-bound athletes, 26 are Khelo India athletes and 72 athletes have qualified for Olympic Games for the first time. Dr. Mandavia also established a coordination group to ensure holistic support for athletes and to address any issues that arise during the lead-up throughout the competition. In Delhi, a thriving skateboarding scene has emerged with a group of young enthusiasts who view skating as an art form that combines creativity, culture and adrenaline. Our next report shines a spotlight on the talented and lesser-known community of skaters in the national capital.
As you hurry out of a crowded metro station to get to work, there's a brief window of artistry and self-expression that awaits you outside one of Delhi's busiest metro stations. Every evening, the Mandi House metro station in the heart of India's capital transforms into a skater's paradise, where over 50 skaters gather to showcase their skills. Wondering who they are?
We are Mandi Monkey Skaters!
They call themselves the Mandi Monkeys, a free community that's all about self-expression and enjoying the sport.
I mean, why do you breathe? At this point, skateboarding is like breathing to me.
For me, skateboarding is like meditation. It brings me to the present moment.
I started skateboard because I like adventure sports.
For these youngsters, skating is more than just technique. It's about art, culture and thrill. Despite limited resources, they share a passion that goes beyond the sport itself.
I saved up money from my first internship, bought the skateboard, but it was not that good. But yeah, started doing it back in college. फिर वहीं college में start किया, इधर-उधर carrying it wherever I went. Then I finally started my job here in Delhi, and somehow, I mean, good God gracious, I found Mandi Monkeys.
Few also lament the lack of coaching and equipment, but feel happy that at least the community of skaters comes together to fill this void.
100 people so at least ऐसे हो जाते हैं.
This sport attracts around 100 regular skaters, but whenever we host any skating competition in Delhi, over 200 skaters show up.
The skaters of Mandi House have more than just the love for sport. Many of them are innovators. One of them has created an electronic skateboard from scratch.
I started with skateboard, moved to longboard and eventually electronic board. I wanted to buy a new electronic board, but then decided to make one from scratch myself.
In a city where space is limited, Delhi's youth is turning public spaces into canvases of self-expression. And that's really the true meaning of art.
India's vibrant heart. Its capital, New Delhi, is home to diverse talents. The city's skaters have found their spot to shine. And it's not just their skills, but their passion that is worth checking out. With camera person Yogesh, this is Nupur Praveen reporting for DD India in New Delhi.
And climbers are gathering in London's Canary Wharf district to attempt to scale a 16-meter high climbing wall over River Thames. Some 100 participants from around the world are racing head-to-head up the wall as part of the North Face Climb Festival. Those who don't make it to the top fall. In fact, those who don't make it to the top fall into River Thames. All right, that's it in this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from DD India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. You can scan the QR codes on your screens to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.